Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with a podcast review. Going to talk about the 2023 film Restore Point. This is a Czech Republic movie. It had a $60 million budget in their money. It's only made about $19.8 million so far. And was first-time director Robert Law's first movie after making some short films. Kind of a cyberpunk, Blade Runner-ish kind of film. Don't think it looks like the Ridley Scott movie, though. It was pretty good. Gotta say, though, give us the option when these movies are released in the United States to watch them subtitled or dubbed. The dubbing really wasn't good. Like, the voice actors are doing a fine job with the script, but what they say doesn't always match the scene. Like, they'll say something like this, and it was really somebody standing over a dead body, you know. Hey, we're doing a lab test on this guy who just got his head ripped off, you know, kind of thing. And it just doesn't always work for me. I really wish there had been subtitled because the dubbing took this down a notch for me. It just, anyway. Other than that, though, takes place in 2041 where we have come up with the technology to restore you. People carry around these little backups. And you, at some point during the day, you can just go, back me up. And it takes a few minutes, and it backs you up. And if you were to die, they can reconstitute you, bring you back to that restore point. Now, they don't tell you in the beginning. They just tell you that there is this 2-day time limit. They won't restore anybody whose backup is older than 2 days. But in the beginning, they don't really tell you why that's a thing. That's just, it's a statement of fact. And the movie basically concerns a officer investigating a couple who die who didn't have valid restore points, including one guy who works in the industry. Why didn't he have a valid restore point? It doesn't make any sense. So there's a mystery involved in this story with this technology. And they don't, it's not a throwaway MacGuffin, but it's also not the most important part of the mystery, but you have to watch the movie. I think the acting was all relatively good. Like I said, if I could have heard the original language, I could tell better. Sometimes the voice acting didn't match the scene, and that always bothers me. But, not watching subtitles, that was fine, so I got to take in the visual aspects. It really is a good-looking movie. It's not Blade Runner. It doesn't look like that. But the special effects and making whatever city this is of the Czech Republic look modern and look futuristic, they do a fantastic job. Like, the special effects are great throughout the film. Nothing looked like a straight-to-video, cheapy, or whatever. The reason why this debuted at a film festival last year. It's now on streaming services. I found it on Fandango at home, which used to be Vudu. It was really cheap, and I was in the mood to watch something sci-fi that I'd never seen. Rotten Tomatoes-wise, it's like 95%. 90-something percent. Pretty high. And I thought it was really good. Again, the dubbing takes it down a bit, but the mystery is engaging and what's going on with this technology. So you find out later, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but things basically are not good if they restore you after a 2-day backup. If it's longer than that, I guess the data degrades and people almost get zombified if they find an old backup and give it to them. They have a hard time processing that. The human body can't do that. That's a limitation of the technology. It's pretty well thought out. And for a first-time director who's directing a movie originally in a foreign language, I picked up on the visual language of everything easily. He tells a great story. I like the actress who stars in it. I think her voice is probably pretty close to what her voice was. But again, sometimes the voice acting doesn't match the action going on screen, and it's why I have a problem with dubbing. I grew up watching more dubbed things than subtitle, but at some point my brain switched over. I would rather hear the original language and see the subtitles and read it. I just feel I get better emotion out of it. I still do watch some things dubbed, sure, but it would be nice to have the option. Like this one, I would have immediately switched over and done subtitles. It just would have been better in the original language. But again, I think the director did a great job. I think it's a good science fiction story. I think it's better than a lot of the stuff on the streaming services. When I watch some sci-fi movies on Amazon or Netflix, they're not this good. This feels like a film. This feels like a movie. Feels like somebody really thought this out. And at the end, pretty good twist, pretty good, okay, yeah. I can see someone in the United States or Europe remaking this film. And it could easily be done. There's some good set pieces in it. There is a good mystery to it. It's kind of a Total Recall kind of thing going on. So, yeah, I would recommend it if you can find it subtitled. If you don't care about dubbing and you don't care that sometimes the people are more excited than they should be on screen and that the voices are more excited than they should be on screen, then check it out. I would give you a list of the actors, actresses, and anybody else who's in the movie, but I would slaughter the names. I'm not good with Czech Republic stuff. So I thought it was good, but not great. And I think it could have been better if it was subtitled. But other than that, if you're looking for some sci-fi stuff that's in the vein of something like a Blade Runner or a Total Recall, although it's not either of those films, it is a pretty decent watch, and it is pretty entertaining. And it was, when it was over, something I thought about longer. I watched it a couple days ago, and here I am talking about it. There are some really neat tech things, some really futuristic things that are kind of matter of fact. Like she's a cop, and she goes to a crime scene, and there is a hologram of this is a crime scene. This street is closed. That because she flashes her ID, she can walk through it. And you don't know if it's like a hard wall. It's not like a force field, but it kind of covers up what's going on behind this crime scene. And once she walks past the hologram, she can see what's going on. And there's an officer there to verify her ID. Also, what I liked about all of the police uniforms, they all have, like, the logos are lit up. Like there's LEDs in the vests and the jackets and the shirts and stuff, and their IDs all light up. So even in the dark, you can tell who they are, who they're working for. It's a thing that obviously would be added if it was easy to do now. And in 2041 or whatever, it looks pretty cool. Little things like that put you in this futuristic frame of mind with this story and this technology. And the technology is not something too far-fetched. It looks like a backup drive with, no cables. It's an interesting idea that could be expanded on and done even better. But for a first-time director working with a decent-sized budget in the Czech Republic, this is a solid sci-fi film. So check it out. It's called Restore Point. Came out in 2023. It might be listed as 2024 because that's when it finally came out over here. It hasn't made a whole lot of money, but I don't know how much 60 million Czech Republic is, so I'll have to look that up. Restore Point, not a bad little sci-fi flick. You can find it now on streaming services, including Fandango at Home. That's where I found it, the former Vudu service. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Links are below if you want to support the channel. Thank you very much for listening to a podcast today. I hope the rest of your day is spectacular.